Just sit in the back and don't talk to anyone important. We can't have you embarrassing the family tonight." My cousin Amanda hissed at me in the marble lobby, adjusting her Cartier bracelet while her eyes scanned the crowd for people who mattered. Behind her, mounted in gold letters 6 feet high on the atrium wall, were the words Elena Martinez Wing, dedicated to advancing pediatric care. A dedication I'd paid $25 million for 3 years ago when I'd made my first major donation to Metropolitan Children's Hospital. What Amanda didn't know, what none of my family knew, was that in exactly 45 minutes, I'd be walking onto that stage to present a $10 million check and announce the expansion of the research center that already bore my name. But I should back up, because the real story starts long before tonight. My name is Elena Martinez, and I'm a software engineer who got very, very lucky. Or, depending on who you ask, I'm a college dropout who got lucky and doesn't deserve what I have. That's certainly what my family thinks. I grew up in a large Mexican-American family in San Antonio, Texas. My parents immigrated from Monterrey before I was born. Dad worked construction, Mom cleaned houses. They had 5 kids. I was the youngest. We weren't poor, but we weren't comfortable either. 3 kids to a bedroom, bills always tight, parents always stressed. My older siblings did well. My sister Carmen became a nurse. My brother Miguel is a high school teacher. Rosa works in hospital administration. Alejandro is an accountant. Solid middle-class careers. Respectable. Safe. I was supposed to be a doctor. That was the plan. Full ride to UT Austin pre-med track, make the family proud. Instead, I got to college and discovered computer science. I fell in love with coding the way some people fall in love with music or art. It made sense to me in a way nothing else ever had. Sophomore year, I dropped out. My family was devastated. My mother cried. My father stopped speaking to me for 6 months. My siblings called me irresponsible, ungrateful, stupid. "You had a full scholarship," Carmen said. "Do you know how many people would kill for that opportunity?" "I'm starting a company," I told them. "Me and 2 friends from school. We're building something revolutionary." "You're throwing your life away," Rosa said. Maybe I was. The odds of startup success are abysmal. Most fail within 5 years. But my co-founders, 2 brilliant engineers named Alex Kwan and Jordan Mitchell, and I had built something genuinely innovative. A cybersecurity platform that used machine learning to predict and prevent data breaches before they happened. We called it Sentinel Security. We launched with $50,000 pooled from our savings and credit cards. We worked from Alex's apartment. We lived on ramen and coffee. We coded for 18 hours a day. My family thought I was insane. For 2 years, Sentinel barely survived. We got small clients, made just enough revenue to keep the lights on. My siblings' pity was obvious at family gatherings. "Still doing the computer thing?" Miguel would ask. "When are you going back to school?" Rosa would press. "You're 23 now, Elena. Time to get serious," Carmen would say. Then in our 3rd year, everything changed. A Fortune 500 financial services company got hit with a massive data breach. It cost them $200 million in damages and lost customer trust. Their CISO reached out to us. They'd heard about our platform through industry connections. They needed something better. We pitched them Sentinel. They signed a 3-year contract worth $15 million. Suddenly, everyone wanted what we had. Banks, healthcare systems, tech companies, government agencies. Within 18 months, Sentinel Security had 42 enterprise clients and $60 million in annual recurring revenue. We raised a Series B funding round that valued the company at $240 million. My equity stake was worth approximately $72 million on paper. I was 26 years old. I didn't tell my family. Why would I? They'd spent years telling me I'd failed, that I'd thrown away my future, that I'd disappointed everyone. I wasn't about to give them the satisfaction of acting like they'd supported me all along. Instead, I lived modestly. I kept my old apartment. I drove my beat-up Honda Civic. I wore jeans and hoodies. At family gatherings, I let them assume I was scraping by. "How's the little business?" Uncle Roberto would ask. "Still going," I'd say vaguely. "Maybe this year you'll make some real money," he'd say, patting my shoulder. By the time I was 30, Sentinel Security had gone public. The IPO valued us at $1.8 billion. My stake was worth $540 million after taxes. I bought a penthouse in downtown Austin. A Tesla. I started a private investment portfolio. And I started donating, anonymously, to causes I cared about. 3 years ago, Metropolitan Children's Hospital in San Antonio launched a capital campaign for a new pediatric research wing. They needed $50 million. I donated $25 million through a private foundation with one condition. The wing would be named after me. My family never connected the dots. Elena Martinez is a common name, and they'd never imagined I had that kind of money. The Elena Martinez wing opened 2 years ago. State-of-the-art research facilities, 35 scientists, groundbreaking work in pediatric oncology and rare diseases. I attended the opening ceremony from the audience, wearing jeans and a blazer, and watched as the hospital's CEO praised the generous donor whose vision made this possible. My mother was there. She'd gotten free tickets through her church. She marveled at the beautiful building and never once suspected her youngest daughter had paid for it. That should have been enough. I should have left it alone. But then Amanda sent the family group text. Amanda is my cousin on my mother's side. She married a plastic surgeon. They live in a mansion in Alamo Heights. She chairs charity committees and collects designer handbags like trophies. She's the family's ambassador to society, whatever that means. The text read, "Family, Dr. Jeff got us a table at the Metropolitan Children's Hospital Gala. It's the social event of the season. Black tie. $1,000 per ticket. Let me know who wants to come." My mother responded, "That's so expensive, Mija." "Amanda, it's for charity, Tia. And it's important for our family to be represented at these events." Shows were involved in the community. Several cousins signed up. My siblings hemmed and hawed about the cost, but eventually agreed. Then someone, I think it was Rosa, wrote, "What about Elena? Is she coming?" Long pause. Then Amanda. "I mean, she can come if she wants, but the ticket is $1,000. I don't know if that's in her budget." Rosa. "Maybe we could chip in for her ticket? So she doesn't feel left out." Carmen. "That's sweet." Elena, "We can cover your ticket if you want to come. Can't have you missing out." I stared at my phone. They were offering to pay my way to a gala honoring a hospital wing I'd funded. They were planning to chip in to buy me a $1,000 ticket to an event where I was receiving a humanitarian award. I typed back, "I can cover my own ticket. I'll be there." Amanda, "Great. Just remember it's very formal. Black tie means actual black tie, not just a nice dress." And Elena, "These are important people. Hospital board members, major donors, city officials. Maybe just keep a low profile? Don't want any awkwardness." Me. Understood. The night of the gala, I got ready in my penthouse. I'd hired a stylist, something I'd never done before. She'd selected a custom Valentino gown, midnight blue, elegant and understated. My hair was professionally done. Jewelry from Cartier, tasteful, not flashy. I looked like I belonged in that room. Because I did. I arrived at the hotel deliberately late, after my family had already checked in. The ballroom was spectacular. The hospital had spared no expense. Chandeliers, floral arrangements that probably cost $50,000, a string quartet playing. I spotted my family immediately. They'd been seated at a table near the back. Not terrible, but definitely not premium placement. Amanda was holding court, her face animated as she chatted with the people around her. My siblings were there, looking slightly uncomfortable in their formal wear. My parents, dressed in their Sunday best, looked overwhelmed by the opulence. I checked in with the event coordinator, a woman named Patricia who I'd worked with on several donations. "Ms. Martinez," she said warmly, "we're so thrilled you're here. Your table is up front, naturally. Table 1, right by the stage. Actually, Patricia, could you seat me at table 47? With my family?" She looked confused. "But you're receiving the award. You should be with the board members, Anne. I'll come up to the stage when called. But I want to sit with my family first. They don't know I'm receiving the award." Understanding dawned on her face. Oh my. This is going to be quite a reveal." "Yes, it is." I made my way to table 47. Amanda saw me first, and her face went through several expressions: surprise, disapproval, and forced politeness. "Elena, you came. And you look nice. That dress is really pretty." "Thank you. Where did you get it?" "It looks expensive." "It was expensive." Awkward pause. "Well, sit down. We saved you a seat. Way in the back here, but at least we're all together, right?" She laughed, a tinkling sound that grated. "The important people are up front, but we're just happy to support the cause." I sat between my mother and Carmen. Mom squeezed my hand. "Mija, you look so beautiful. Like a movie star." "Thanks, Mama." Carmen leaned over. How much did that dress cost? It looks designer. It was. Elena, you shouldn't spend money you don't have. This event is already expensive enough. I can afford it, I said quietly. The evening began. Dinner was served, a predictable rubber chicken situation, though at this price point, you'd think they could do better. Amanda spent the entire meal name-dropping and trying to flag down anyone she perceived as important. That's Dr. Morrison, she whispered loudly. Chief of surgery. We're friends through Jeff. They'd met once. And that's Patricia Hendricks, she's on the board. Patricia was my event coordinator, who definitely knew who I was. Then came the speeches. The hospital CEO spoke about the life-saving work being done. The board chairman thanked donors. A young patient, a 10-year-old girl who'd been treated for leukemia in the Elena Martinez wing, spoke about how the facility saved her life. My mother was crying. Then the CEO returned to the podium. And now we come to the highlight of our evening. 3 years ago, an extraordinary philanthropist made a transformative gift to Metropolitan Children's Hospital. A $25 million donation that built our state-of-the-art pediatric research wing. Tonight, that same donor has agreed to an additional $10 million commitment to expand our facilities and fund groundbreaking research. Amanda whispered, "Wow, $10 million. Can you imagine being that rich?" This donor exemplifies the best of our community, the CEO continued. She's a pioneer in technology, a self-made entrepreneur, and a humanitarian who understands that our children are our future. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest of honor and the hospital's most generous benefactor, Elena Martinez. The room erupted in applause. At table 47, there was absolute silence. I stood up. Slowly. Deliberately. Amanda's mouth was open. Carmen had gone pale. Rosa's hand was frozen, holding a wine glass. Miguel looked confused. My mother was staring at me with wide eyes. I walked toward the stage, my Valentino gown swishing, my Cartier jewelry catching the light. Every step felt significant. I climbed the stairs and shook hands with the CEO, who handed me the microphone and a ceremonial $10 million check. "Thank you," I said to the crowd. 3 years ago, I made the first donation to what would become the Elena Martinez wing because I believe every child deserves access to the best medical care, regardless of their family's financial situation. I grew up here in San Antonio. My parents worked multiple jobs to give us opportunities. I know what it's like to worry about medical bills, to pray your kids don't get sick because you can't afford treatment. In the back, my mother was openly crying now. Tonight, I'm honored to announce an additional $10 million commitment to expand our research capabilities and bring even more life-saving treatments to the children who need them most. I held up the check. But more than that, I'm announcing the creation of the Martinez Family Scholarship Fund. $5 million to provide full college scholarships for underprivileged students pursuing careers in medicine and technology. The applause was thunderous. I locked eyes with Amanda. Her face was scarlet. Because sometimes, I continued, the path to success doesn't look like people expect. Sometimes you have to drop out of college to start a company. Sometimes you have to disappoint your family to follow your vision. Sometimes the embarrassment, at the back table, is actually the person who built the building you're standing in. More applause, though I saw several people glancing back at table 47, where my family sat frozen. Thank you all for your support of Metropolitan Children's Hospital. Together, we're saving lives. I left the stage to a standing ovation. Patricia handed me a glass of champagne. "That was perfect," she whispered. I returned to table 47. Nobody spoke as I sat down. Finally, Amanda found her voice. You're the Elena Martinez? The wing is named after you." "Yes. But how, when, how much money do you have?" "Enough." Carmen grabbed my arm. "Elena, why didn't you tell us?" "Tell you what? That the company you all thought was a joke is worth $1.8 billion? That I'm worth over $500 million? That I've donated $35 million to charity in the last 3 years? Why would I tell you that when you've spent a decade treating me like a failure?" Rosa was shaking her head. "We didn't treat you like a failure. You offered to chip in for my ticket. You told me not to embarrass the family. Amanda literally told me to sit in the back and not talk to important people." I looked around the table. I am the most important person at this event. I funded the wing. I'm giving them $10 million tonight. The hospital CEO has my personal cell number. Miguel spoke up. "We didn't know. You didn't ask. None of you asked. You just assumed. You assumed I'd failed because I didn't follow the path you wanted. You assumed I was broke because I drive an old car and live modestly. You assumed I needed your charity because you couldn't imagine I'd succeeded on my own terms. My mother reached for my hand. Mija, I'm sorry. We're all sorry. Are you sorry you didn't believe in me, or sorry you didn't know I had money? She flinched. That's not fair, isn't it? Amanda warned me not to embarrass the family. But the only embarrassment tonight is being related to people who valued appearance over substance, who judged success by traditional metrics, who couldn't see what was right in front of them. I stood up. I'm going to mingle with the important people. Feel free to join me, though I imagine it might be awkward introducing yourselves as the family who didn't think I'd amount to anything. I walked away. Over the next hour, I worked the room. I spoke with the hospital board, major donors, city officials. I took photos with the young patient whose life had been saved in my wing. I accepted congratulations and thanks. I saw my family huddled at their table, occasionally glancing my way. My mother looked devastated. Carmen looked ashamed. Amanda had disappeared, probably left early in humiliation. At the end of the night, my father approached me. He'd been quiet during dinner, hadn't said a word during the revelation. Mija, he said in Spanish. Tu abuela would be proud. I looked at him. Would you have been proud if I didn't have money? If Sentinel had failed and I was still coding in someone's apartment, would you be proud? He thought about it, really thought about it. I don't know, he finally said. But I should have been. You worked hard. You took risks. You followed your dream. That should have been enough. But it wasn't. No. And I'm sorry for that. It was the first honest thing any of them had said. Thank you, Papa. We talked for a while. Really talked. Maybe for the first time since I'd dropped out of college. He asked about my company, my work, my life. Not the money, the actual work. Some relationships can be repaired. Some can't. Time would tell which category my family fell into. But I learned something that night. The people who tell you not to embarrass them are usually the ones you should embarrass first. Because sometimes the only way to get respect is to make it impossible to ignore. They told me to sit in the back. Instead, I walked on stage and revealed that I owned the building. They told me not to embarrass them. Instead, I showed them that the only embarrassment was their own assumptions. My name is Elena Martinez. It's on a hospital wing. It's on a $10 million check. It's on scholarship funds that will change lives. And now, finally, my family knows it too.